All right. Let's get back to the podcast. And usually I take notes on Google Docs, but for segment number 3, I'm pulling out the paper because I had to do pen and paper notes for segment number 3 because I was doing a little alumni panel for ASU at the Cronkite School. So I had to take some notes with pen and paper, didn't have a computer on me. So we're doing this old fashioned way because in segment number 3, I want to discuss who won that Luke Weaver for Emmanuel Rivera trade. I think most of us already know. I think if you watch game 1 against the Royals, you already know because Emmanuel Rivera had that ground rule double that scored a run in the top of the 9th inning against Luke Weaver. You could basically say that's how we know who won the trade right then and there. That's how we know who won the trade because Luke Weaver came in and gave up 2 earned runs, including one of them to Emmanuel Rivera, the guy he was traded for. So maybe that should be all the analysis you need. But nevertheless, I still got some numbers I want to run here with you because if you just look at the raw traditional numbers, they definitely lean Rivera's way. That was a tough phrase for me to say. They definitely lean Rivera's way right now. That's like a tongue twister. Rivera's way right now. And Rivera, with the D-backs so far, 286 average, 998 OPS, 4 home runs, 4 doubles in 14 games, entering the game against the Kansas City Royals. So these were his numbers entering the game against the Kansas City Royals. And those are pretty good numbers. The slash line is pretty crazy. Obviously, it's going down with every game he plays because we did this. We brought up his numbers like 3 pods ago, and it was like a 330 average, like a 1250 OPS. Obviously, they're going down, but he's still been a very good slugger, extra base power guy for the D-back so far. And if you just want to compare that to the raw numbers, just the traditional numbers of Luke Weaver, 6.75 ERA, 4 earned runs, and 5.1 innings pitched, entering game 1 against the D-back. So now it's what? 6 earned runs in 7 innings pitched, I think, for Luke Weaver. His ERA now, I can actually look it up on ESPN, 7.71 on the season. So yeah, Luke Weaver's ERA is going the opposite direction. It's probably an 8 now with the Kansas City Royals because Rivera and Weaver, the numbers I just mentioned, were their traditional numbers with their new teams, not overall in the season, just with their new team. So Luke Weaver coming into this game had a 6.75 ERA with his new team. That's probably like an 8.5 now, or maybe even higher after giving up 2 earned runs and 1.2 innings pitched today. But let's actually dive a little bit deeper into the numbers and see how these players have changed since being acquired by their new teams, because Emmanuel Rivera has improved in some areas. He has kept his strikeout percentage basically the same while doubling his walk percentage since coming over. And that's been kind of the vibe with this whole D-backs lineup right now. Like everyone is just walking and not striking out. Like I don't know what happened after the All-Star break, but they're like, let's just double our walk to strikeout ratio, because you even look tonight, game 1 against the Royals, D-backs, 9 walks to just 4 strikeouts. So it's a phenomenon that I like to see keep happening for the D-backs, because if you're walking more than you're striking out, like good things are just bound to happen. For Rivera is one of those guys. Walk percentage has doubled since coming over, while strikeout percentage has stayed the same. And maybe that's the case for most of these D-backs players. I have to look at it. Maybe they're not striking out less. Maybe they're just getting walks more. That's an interesting nugget I have to go back and look at. But his batting average on balls in play has increased by 30 points since coming over to Arizona. He's also just improved a lot overall. And he's someone that had a pretty interesting profile when being acquired, because he was struggling with the Kansas City Royals. And we haven't seen a ton of struggles so far with the D-backs. But one thing I do like about Emmanuel Rivera is he's a great fastball hitter. And I think to be a slugger like Rivera with the body frame he has, obviously, you don't want to struggle with off-speed pitches, but I think I care more about the fact that he locks in on fastballs, because batting average against fastballs on the season, 303 average with a 615 slugging. He absolutely crushes fastball. Yeah, the off-speed pitches, the breaking balls might get to him, but as long as you can crush the fastball as a middle-of-the-lineup slugger, you're going to be able to survive in Major League Baseball. But look at Luke Weaver. A lot of his numbers have gone the other direction since being sent over to Kansas City, because his season with the D-backs, despite giving up a lot of runs, it was actually one of his best seasons in terms of striking out folks and not allowing walks. But that has not been the case since going to Kansas City. He's striking out folks less and he's walking people more. And don't let his FIP fool you, because that FIP this season is absolutely elite. Luke Weaver entering game 1 had like a 2.88 ERA, a 2.88 FIP on the season. And it's all anchored by the fact that with the D-backs, he was actually pretty good at not allowing walks. Like like I said, he was striking out people. He was not allowing. He was basically Robbie Ray his last season with the D-backs. Luke Weaver was. Both of them, their last season were very similar because both of them were basically three true outcome guys: strikeouts, walks, and home runs. Or maybe I shouldn't say that because that's not true. Discredit that point I just made. Discredit. Just act like the last 30 seconds I said didn't count, because Luke Weaver's not a three true outcome guy, because he's actually just a one true outcome guy. He gets the strikeouts, but with the D-backs, he actually wasn't allowing walks, which is one reason why his FIP is so low. The other reason is he's only allowed one home run the whole season. So don't let the FIP fool you into thinking Luke Weaver's having a good season because it's really low. He's been pretty good at not allowing walks for most of the season, at least when he was with Arizona. And he still has been elite at not allowing home runs. That's why his FIP has been so good. But guess what? The dude still gets crushed with hits per nine and slugging percentage. Like, that still matters too. So despite his FIP being good, Luke Weaver is still getting crushed by most metrics, because his BABIP, his batting average on balls in play, is still over 400. Was over 400 with the D-backs, still over 400 with the Royals. I think his OPS allowed was like over 900. And he's not even starting games with the Royals. Like, think about how sad that is for Luke Weaver. He was a starter most of his career. I mean, this season, the D-backs kind of transitioned him to the bullpen. I thought maybe he would go back to being a starter with the Kansas City Royals, but no, that's not the case. And if you look at his hard contact stats since being acquired by Kansas City, they've gone way up. Like, hard hit percentage above 40, exit velo I think is around like 93 miles per hour. Like, he is getting crushed at the plate right now, and it is just not a pretty sight. So when I look at this trade, when I look at what happened in game one against the Kansas City Royals, it's a no doubter. Mike Hazen won this trade. It's probably right now very small sample size, but so far one of the better trades Mike Hazen has made in his career, and I'm calling it a fleece. Now, that's it for this edition of the Locked On Diamondbacks podcast. Thank you to everyone who tuned into today's podcast. Come back tomorrow for more Diamondbacks news, coverage, and insight. And as always, thank you for making Locked On Diamondbacks your first listen every day. Go make your second listen of the day, Locked On MLB, with my pal and your pal, Sully Baseball, walking baseball encyclopedia. Stay safe, stay healthy. See you tomorrow. Deuces. That is not the outro.